Just a little warning to you boys, watch your panel sizes. Things are getting weird out here. Things are getting weird. These panels are 82 by 41.5, not a standard size. Us residential boys are never supposed to have a commercial panel like this, but we've got them, and they're bringing down the power. So you're seeing a lot of bifacial modules now. This is a bifacial solar array. One of the things that you need to watch out for is these short module leads. I mean, this thing is like 12 inches long. So you got to plan for that. They're not long enough. They're barely long enough to reach a micro inverter. And when you need to connect these two parallel arrays, you got to make a jumper. Here's a picture Scott Hunt just sent me of a job they went to do last week. This is an in-phase job. There's nowhere to put that in-phase microinverter where you can get both module leads to reach it. So what do? You end up having to go home and make 2 jumpers for every single panel. Now on a 30-panel job, that's 4 extra connections per panel. It's 120 extra connections on a 30-panel job. That's a bad day, folks. That's coming home empty-handed and going back to making a bunch of connectors when you could have just hooked it up. Every connection's a fail point. I don't care what anybody says. And if you're making them at home, it's even worse. Don't do this to yourself, guys. Don't get greedy and think you're going to use a huge panel and not look at the spec sheet and look at the module leads. It'll burn you in the end. So watch out, folks. You got to watch out for these short connectors. Throw you for a curveball. Pull the spec sheet on the module and check that module spec sheet. That's the last thing you want to do is get out in the field and realize you don't have what you need. Now, if you do these panels, the only thing you're going to have to do with these, if you're wiring in the configuration I'm telling you about and you're paralleling at each end, you're just going to have to make a jumper that will reach down to here. So on this particular array, we had to make, an 84-inch jumper that would reach down to there. And then that's where we put our branch connector, and that runs all the way back. They've started referring to the short cables on the back as portrait cables. So you might see landscape cables and portrait cables. As with regular module leads, they will both reach to the midpoint and be able to plug in. But it's a little nicer on the wire management. You can see the difference in the wire management. Just one right angle 90 clip gets the wires nice and tight versus... That's that clip right there, that little stainless thing, versus having to do the little loop-de-loo.